Welcome back to my channel.
Lights cut, curtains pull back. What you thought you knew about Kody Brown and Robyn, everything you argued about with your friends while the credits rolled, comes crashing down like a set piece collapsing on stage. Picture it. The cameras keep rolling, the reunion music swells, and on screen, Kody leans back on that familiar couch, arms folded, that practiced look of wounded nobility settling over his face. Robyn clutches his hand, tears glittering under the studio lights, defending a story the world has already learned to love. The narrative on TV is neat. Loyalty, unity, sacrifice. The family is stronger together. Cue the applause. But behind that applause, another script is being written. One made of bank ledgers, late-night phone logs, and sealed court filings. According to court documents now in the mix, prosecutors quietly started piecing together a different storyline, one that points to secret financial maneuvers. Shadowy accounts and nearly $450,000 moved off the family books. On camera, Kody speaks about fairness. At the kitchen table, he draws charts, divides expenses, promises legacy and equal say. Off camera, the numbers allegedly tell another story. Listen to this: checks with forged signatures. Invoices for consulting tied to businesses registered in Robyn's name, with prosecutors saying those businesses were shells, not real operations. Accountants allegedly paid off the books. The more you look, the more the glossy TV image scrapes away, revealing ink-stained margins and backdated transactions. And when the family tried to ask questions, they say they were gaslit. Christine and Janelle, allegedly noticing money vanishing, began keeping their own ledgers. Emails were sent to producers. Warnings were whispered into the right inboxes. But NDAs and camera contracts kept the fight behind closed doors for a while. Every text, every check, every terse meeting was suddenly subject to legal scrutiny. Robyn's defense, according to leaked transcripts, was the same cover many people use when the books get messy. It's a misunderstanding. Money moves around in plural families. But the judge wasn't persuaded. A sealed forensic audit was ordered. Every account touched by Kody and Robyn since 2015 was put under a microscope. Imagine watching season 17's tense family meeting unfold with the knowledge that the man asking everyone to just trust me was allegedly wiring tens of thousands away from joint accounts. Imagine the cameras, catching Kody raising his voice about trust and stewardship, while bank statements tell a different story. The contrast is cinematic: innocence staged on cue, discrepancy revealed in cold print. Then the whispers became headlines. Reporters circled. Producers scrambled. What can air? What must be edited? What scenes now look, on paper, incriminating? The family's public ritual, church photos, carefully curated posts, "we're working on it" statements, went on while lawyers quietly built a defense strategy. Courtroom drama escalated fast. Subpoenas were handed to Christine, Janelle, even Mary. Private pain turned into public testimony. In the prosecutor's opening, listeners say the timeline read like a decade-long crime thriller. Repeated transfers, shell registrations, checks to consulting services that allegedly never did any consulting. Each document in the file felt like another tilt of the spotlight. Another question the Browns could no longer answer with a smiling Instagram caption. And Robyn, once framed by cameras as the family's steady peacemaker, reportedly became a key figure in the financial trail, named as co-signer on large transfers. The people who preached transparency, according to filings, now faced sealed indictments and grand jury questions. What does this mean for fans who invested in the on-screen story of togetherness? It means reconsidering the comfortable narrative. It means wondering how much of what we cheered for was staging and how much was deliberate misdirection. It means asking, when a family's private ledger is pulled into the public record, are viewers owed the truth or just edited highlights? This case isn't just about money. It's about trust, inheritance, and the authority one person can wield. It's about legacy, what's protected and who profits. And it's about the moment when television's glossy veneer collides with the cold legal grind of audits and sworn testimony. So buckle up, besties. In the episodes to come, we'll follow the forensic audit, unpack the contradictions in testimonial timelines, and sit through the courtroom that turned family secrets into public evidence. We'll read the documents, parse the denials, and weigh the gap between what was filmed and what the paper trail says. If you thought the show was dramatic, think again. Reality just raised the stakes. This time the consequences aren't ratings. They're legal. They're real. They're real. Today's story takes us deep inside the courtroom where the sister wives' empire finally began to crumble. What unfolded wasn't just legal drama. It was the unmasking of years of secrets, lies, and financial deception that could rewrite everything we thought we knew about Kody and Robyn Brown. The lead forensic accountant took the stand first, her tone calm but devastating. She described what she called a complex, deliberate pattern of financial obfuscation. In simpler terms, Kody and Robyn allegedly moved money around to hide it, not just from the other wives, but from creditors, the IRS, and maybe even TLC itself. According to court records, the money trail didn't lead to family accounts at all. It led to shell companies, relatives' names, and consulting firms that didn't actually exist. But the real shock came when investigators found late-night wire transfers, each one just below the federal reporting limit, funneling money directly into one of Robyn's so-called businesses. When asked who authorized those transfers, the accountant pointed to signatures that handwriting experts confirmed matched both Kody and Robyn. That's when prosecutors brought out the digital evidence, deleted emails, text messages, and even phone backups. In one message, Robyn allegedly told Kody, "No one will ever know. It's all just family business." But the court wasn't buying it. The judge's voice echoed through the courtroom. When money moves in the dark, the light of the law will eventually find it. In the gallery, Christine and Janelle sat frozen. They weren't just spectators, they were witnesses. Christine, calm but resolute, testified that she'd learned to stop asking questions about money because the truth always started a fight. Janelle described nights spent combing through statements, finding missing deposits and unexplained withdrawals. That was the moment viewers realized this wasn't reality TV anymore. This was real. Prosecutors painted a damning picture. Kody and Robyn weren't victims. They were the architects of a financial maze that hurt everyone around them: family, business partners, and even the fans who believed in their story. But Kody's defense team fought back hard. They argued this was all a misunderstanding, bitterness from ex-wives and outsiders who didn't understand the pressures of a plural family. According to them, Kody was a misunderstood businessman and Robyn was just a loyal wife caught in the storm. They even called a psychologist to the stand to describe the mental strain of plural marriage and public life. But no defense could outshine the evidence. Audio recordings, text messages, and money trails told a story too consistent to ignore. At one point, the judge grew visibly frustrated. "This is not reality TV," she said. "This is real life, with real consequences." Moments later, she froze all joint family accounts. Overnight, every Brown dollar was under court supervision. No one could pay bills. No one could touch the money. The empire was locked. Headlines exploded across the internet. Embezzlement, betrayal, the Brown family fortune vanishes. Fans split into factions, some defending Christine and Janelle as long-silenced victims, others calling the whole thing a witch hunt. Behind the scenes, though, the emotional toll was crushing. Christine felt vindicated but shattered. Janelle was furious, not just about the money, but the betrayal. And Robyn, once the family's savior, now found herself painted as a co-conspirator, reportedly unable to sleep, haunted by the thought of prison. Then came the moment that changed everything. The judge ruled that Christine and Janelle would have full authority to audit all past family finances, even TLC records. For the first time, they had legal power to uncover every secret Kody and Robyn had hidden. The courtroom gasped. Kody's face went pale. This wasn't just about guilt or innocence anymore. It was about truth, decades in the making. And that's when Mary stepped in. Quiet, composed, and tired of the sidelines, she reportedly reached out to Christine and Janelle, offering support, and hinting she might file her own legal claim. For the first time in years, the sister wives stood together, not for Kody, but against him. As the judge ended the session, her words cut deep. Trust is earned through honesty, not just words. And as the courtroom emptied, one thing was clear. Nothing in the Brown family would ever be the same again. Stay tuned, besties, because Session 3 is where this story stops being about money and starts being about everything they tried to keep buried. The love, the pain, and the truth that finally broke them. If you thought the courtroom drama had already hit its peak, think again, because Christine Brown's testimony is where the emotional storm truly began. According to transcripts and eyewitness accounts, her voice trembled at first. Years of bottled pain spilled out as she described the confusion, the suspicion, and the missing money that haunted her marriage. She spoke about nights spent checking balances that never added up, the fights that always ended in deflection, and the times Kody swore everything was fair. The courtroom fell silent as the prosecutor played clips from Sister Wives on the big screen. There they were, Kody and Robyn, smiling, promising honesty and unity. But in the courtroom, the illusion shattered. Christine sat quietly, her eyes glistening as she said, "You want to believe the best in your husband. But at some point, you have to accept the truth, even if it hurts." And this, besties, is where everything turns. Christine produced her handwritten ledgers, pages filled with dates, amounts, and notes she'd secretly kept for years. The gallery gasped. She had proof. Real evidence of every suspicious transaction. But the most gut-wrenching moment came when Christine recalled the night she told her children about the investigation. Through tears, she remembered her daughter's question. "Is Dad going to jail? Did Robyn take our money?" The courtroom was still. Even the judge gave her a moment to compose herself. It wasn't just a case anymore. It was a family breaking in real time. Next, Janelle took the stand. Calm, collected, but furious beneath the surface. Her testimony was surgical. Dates, numbers, emails, Kody ignored, bills left unpaid. She admitted she wanted to believe in Kody's leadership. "I wanted to be loyal," she said, her voice steady. "But loyalty only works if everyone's playing by the same rules." She told the court how her credit was ruined, how she had to borrow from friends just to keep the lights on, while Kody and Robyn lived comfortably in their new home. Then came the bombshell. Prosecutors played audio recordings of Kody's voice, low and urgent. "Don't say anything you don't have to. If anyone calls, just stick to the story. It's all just family stuff." In another recording, Robyn's voice trembled as she asked if the money was safe. Kody replied, "No one's going to look. We're fine." The judge shook her head in disbelief. And this is where everything turns again. Robyn's cross-examination became the trial's emotional center. Her attorney tried to paint her as a victim, naive, manipulated, scared. But the evidence told another story. Document after document showed her signature on major transfers. "Did you read these before signing?" the prosecutor asked. Robyn hesitated, stammered, and finally whispered, "I trusted Kody to tell me what was best." Tears streamed down her face. Even Mary, who'd been silent for most of the trial, broke down sobbing. Jurors wiped their eyes. The courtroom wasn't just witnessing financial collapse. It was witnessing the death of trust. The prosecution then unveiled something staggering. A calendar overlay comparing Sister Wives' filming dates with bank withdrawals. On screen, Kody and Robyn talked about honesty and family. Behind the scenes, money was allegedly disappearing. The alignment was undeniable. Was it all just a performance? The prosecutor asked. The question hung in the air like smoke. And then came the children. Some, now adults, sat quietly in the gallery, faces pale, eyes downcast. Others submitted written statements. One read, "We never asked for this. We just wanted a family." The emotional toll was visible. Robyn looked hollow. Friends said she barely slept. Cameras caught her whispering to her children, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." No filters, no scripts, just raw human pain. Meanwhile, Kody sat apart, his once commanding presence reduced to a shadow. He reportedly told his lawyer, "Everything I built is gone. My family hates me. My kids hate me. Was it all worth it?" But even now, he insisted he was innocent. "It was just business," he said. And that's the moment the illusion finally shattered. As court adjourned, prosecutors dropped their biggest revelation yet, sealed documents from a former TLC executive. Inside, evidence that the network had suspected irregularities in the Browns' financial disclosures for years. The judge ordered them unsealed. Gasps filled the room. It was no longer just about the Browns. It was about TLC, about the empire, about the truth finally clawing its way into the light. Outside, the courthouse buzzed with debate. Was Kody always this cunning, or did fame twist him? Was Robyn a mastermind or a pawn? And what about the women who walked away? Were they finally free or forever haunted? As Christine left the courtroom, she told reporters through tears, "I just want my kids to know I did everything I could. I want the truth out, no matter how ugly it is." And Janelle, her voice strong and clear, said, "I hope this is the beginning of real healing." But besties, we all know, healing doesn't start until the truth stops hiding. And for the Browns, the truth has only just begun to unravel. By the end of Session 3, the damage was already irreversible, not just for the Browns, but for everyone who watched their family crumble in real time. What had started as a financial scandal had become something far deeper, a reckoning for an entire TV legacy. The courtroom wasn't just about numbers anymore. It was about broken promises, lost innocence, and the unbearable cost of public life. Fans, family, even the judge. Everyone knew the consequences of this trial would echo for years to come. And this part, besties, is where everything turns for the entire Sister Wives legacy. Because in Session 4, the lines between television and truth finally blur beyond recognition. If you've ever watched an episode and wondered what was really happening off camera, this is the chapter that answers every question. It starts with a giant digital calendar displayed in court. On one side, the glittering, polished timeline of Sister Wives episodes. On the other, the cold, hard reality, court filings, secret transactions, and frantic late-night family texts. The prosecution's tech team overlays the two timelines, and suddenly, the truth leaps out. When Kody and Robyn smiled on camera, pledging unity and transparency to millions, the evidence shows that behind the scenes, the most incriminating transfers were allegedly taking place. It's not speculation, it's time-stamped. Take, for example, that infamous family meeting in Season 16. Kody stands before the wives, marker in hand, mapping out Coyote Pass, declaring, "We're a team. We do this together." But according to bank records, just hours after that scene was filmed, $75,000 was wired from the joint family account to one of Robyn's consulting businesses, an account now flagged as central to the prosecution's case. The contradiction is staggering. Even the most loyal fans can't explain it away. And this part, besties, is where everything turns again. The court spends hours dissecting these overlaps. Prosecutors call it a pattern of public performance masking private misconduct. On TV, Kody and Robyn were the misunderstood heroes, victims of gossip, champions of family. But off-screen, Christine and Janelle were allegedly rationing groceries and juggling overdue bills. The judge herself remarked that the show's depiction of family unity was in direct conflict with the verified flow of funds. To drive it home, the prosecution played side-by-side footage. On the left, Robyn in tears, promising in a confessional, "I would never keep secrets from the other wives." On the right, her digital signature authorizing a $30,000 withdrawal that same week, right after Christine had asked about missing funds. The courtroom audience shifted uncomfortably. It wasn't just deception. It was performance, monetized, televised, and disguised as faith and family. Then came the expert testimony, a media analyst specializing in reality TV editing. He explained, "Shows like Sister Wives are built to tell a story, but what's left out is often more important than what's left in." The gap between reality TV and actual reality, that's where manipulation thrives. And this is when the unraveling truly begins. Imagine being Christine or Janelle, watching those old episodes again, realizing how they were gaslit on national television, while the truth was buried under contracts and NDAs. Christine's testimony revealed that after some filming days, she would go home and cry, doubting her own memory, wondering if she was losing her grip on reality. "It was like living in two worlds," she said softly. "The TV world full of hope and love, and the real world where I was hiding overdue credit cards and praying the mortgage cleared." Janelle, in her matter-of-fact way, admitted she sometimes hoped the cameras would accidentally catch something, a look, a moment, that would give viewers a clue. "But they never did," she said. "We just smiled, said our lines, and survived." Then came one of the most damning revelations yet. The prosecution referenced a Season 17 scene, Robyn crying, telling Mary and Janelle she just wants to be trusted. But property records showed that same month, Kody and Robyn allegedly closed on a $1.3 million home, funded, according to forensic audits, by money siphoned from accounts meant for shared family expenses. The judge called it the clearest example yet of television fiction colliding with financial reality. And this is the part, besties, where everything turns again. With each new contradiction, Kody and Robyn's defense grew more frantic. Their lawyers argued that you can't hold reality TV to the standard of reality. That editing, reshoots, and scripted confessionals distorted the truth. But the evidence was merciless. Because the more they tried to separate their TV selves from their real selves, the more obvious it became. The deception wasn't just financial. It was emotional. It was spiritual. It was the illusion that built an empire. And by the end of Session 4, that illusion had completely collapsed. The Sister Wives story, the one millions believed in, was no longer about faith or family. It was about what happens when the cameras stop rolling, and the truth finally steps into the light. Because this next part isn't just another revelation. It's the point where the entire Sister Wives empire begins to collapse under its own weight. The prosecution stands their ground, unshaken by Kody's defense. Then, in a move no one saw coming, they reveal the emails. Dozens of them. Messages between Kody Brown and TLC producers, dated and verified, each one pointing toward something far darker than simple mismanagement. The courtroom projector flickers to life. Kody's words, written in his own tone, appear across the screen. "Let's film this scene after the transaction clears," one email reads. Another, more incriminating. "We can build the storyline around this. Make it look like we're united." The implication is undeniable. Kody allegedly wasn't just filming a show, he was using it. Crafting scenes, manipulating production timelines, and curating storylines not for honesty, but for cover. The show itself, the family's biggest success, had allegedly become the perfect smokescreen. Suddenly, the entire courtroom feels like an audience watching a truth they were never meant to see. The fans watching online explode with reactions. Hashtags light up every platform. On Team Christine, Justice for Janelle, Kody exposed. TikTok floods with side-by-side comparisons of televised family moments against court-documented transactions. Reddit turns into a digital investigation board with frame-by-frame breakdowns, timestamps, and theories. Some fans remain loyal, insisting it's all a setup, a coordinated attack from bitter ex-wives. But most, they can't ignore what's unfolding before their eyes. The story they believed for over a decade is crumbling in real time. And then comes the twist that no one, not even the judge, expects. Meri Brown's text messages. For years, she's been the silent bystander, the quiet one in the background. But in private texts admitted as evidence, Meri's true thoughts surface. In one, she asks Robyn directly, "How many times can you move money before someone notices?" Another message, colder and sharper, reads, "Are we all just pawns in this game?" The jury reads her words, and for the first time, Meri's carefully maintained neutrality is shattered. Her silence, it turns out, wasn't loyalty. It was fear. And when those messages are read aloud, the tension in the courtroom shifts. The judge pauses the session. She calls for an emergency conference, summoning TLC's legal team. Suddenly, the network itself is in the hot seat. Documents unsealed from TLC's archives reveal internal emails, years of ignored red flags, and memos from producers who sensed the truth but chose silence. One former producer's words echo through the courtroom. "We knew about the discrepancies, but they said it was family stuff. Legal told us to stay out of it." The judge's response is sharp and unforgiving. Entertainment contracts do not excuse criminal acts. And just like that, the camera turns toward the network that built the illusion. The guilt is no longer confined to Kody and Robyn. The entire machine that fed the lie is now exposed. Then come the voices of the children. Their written statements are read aloud, and this is where hearts begin to break. One daughter admits she was told to smile for the cameras even when she could hear her parents arguing in the next room. Another says she learned not to ask questions, the honor off camera. Their words paint a haunting picture of kids raised inside a televised illusion, torn between scripted smiles and real-life pain. By now, the courtroom feels heavy, a mix of anger, grief, and disbelief. The judge's final words before sentencing strike like a hammer. Public image is not a shield. You can delay the truth with editing and spin, but it always finds its way out. The silence that follows feels eternal. Kody sits motionless, eyes fixed on the table. Robyn sobs quietly beside him, her tissue shredded between her fingers. Across the aisle, Christine and Janelle hold hands, their faces a mix of relief and exhaustion. For them, this isn't victory, it's validation. Proof that the years of doubt, the nights of confusion, the accusations of jealousy, were all built on lies. And then the verdict lands. Kody Brown, guilty. The sentence sealed but significant. Robyn, spared prison time but ordered to pay $450,000 in restitution and serve probation under strict supervision. The judge's final remark cuts through the air. You signed the checks. You signed your name to the lies. The courtroom explodes into movement. Reporters rush out, cameras flash. Headlines form in real time. Kody Brown sentenced. Sister wives' empire falls. Robyn Brown ordered to pay $450,000 in reality TV fraud case. Outside, chaos. Fans cry, shout, argue. TikToks hit 1 million views an hour. Reddit threads burn with theories. But inside, the mood is different. Quiet, raw, real. The Brown children cling to their mothers. A son whispers, "We just wanted a family." A daughter murmurs, "Maybe now we can finally move on." Then Christine steps forward to address the press. Her voice trembles, but her words cut clean. I spent years doubting myself. They called me jealous, dramatic, unstable. Now everyone can see we weren't crazy. We were gaslit. The timeline doesn't lie. Janelle follows, steady and strong. Reality TV isn't real life. It never was. This was our truth, and it almost destroyed us. Even Robyn, no longer in character, whispers tearfully to the judge, "I'm sorry. I was wrong. I should have stood up for what was right, not what was easy." And that's when it hits, besties. This isn't just the end of a show. It's the collapse of an empire built on performance. It's the price of pretending for too long. Because in the end, the judge was right. You can sell a story to the world, but you can't sell a lie to the law. And this is where everything turns forever. Forever.